Alright, what's up yins guys? Time for another video. Figured some of you guys are probably all cookied out already from all the holiday cookies from your friends and your friends' friends and all that. And whatever holiday dinners or stuff that you've been eating or whatever. And getting ready for New Year's already and crap like that. But anyway, this video, I was talking about this shit to friends outside of YouTube, and uh, I kind of want to pair it up with any of you guys who subscribed to me to this long ass story about how I used to live close to certain places where you eat, or even whether it's a restaurant that serves beer or whatever place, but where it's like your financial priorities. And I wanted to make this video more about not just repeating that, but I wanted to emphasize it as how to get even. And my story that kind of dovetails into the rest of these stories that pissed a lot of people on YouTube off when they're doing some of these fucked up comments, which some of them are so fucked up I actually had to remove them. Well, when you report them as bullying, they remove it, which is the thing. And yes, I do take pictures of them, even if I don't do a YouTube video like you guys see with showing it like on a YouTube video and showing you the comment. The first thing I always do is take a snapshot so I can send it to my friends on other social media anyway, so I'm going to tell you that real quick. And yeah, there's some of them comments, some of you guys, I'm not saying who, were kind of sending me messages who were also friends. You know me on the YouTube, but you're also friends on certain social media. You've seen it already, and we're already laughing about it. So yeah. But anyway, I'm talking about how to get even. And part of my story and some of these other stories about how I found out ways to get even. I think it might have got me. This may have kept me from falling into a lot of that shit where people like on so many different avenues that are doing the gang stalking. I told you before. I lived in a neighborhood, all the nice houses over here, projects over here, two different cultures, and somebody's looking for somebody to project their bullshit on. You know what I mean? To cover their own shit. You know what I mean? But somebody they don't. Oh, you've got people on both sides prejudiced for whatever you don't do, or whatever, or they don't like the way you look, you don't do. On this side, you don't do enough of drugs, don't drink or party enough, and the other side's accusing you. Even based on who you're probably related to, if you're related to a few people that kind of weren't really good people in the town, and they're pairing you up with. But anyway, I know I'm telling you this ain't the total cure, but I think what may have saved me from all the bullshit that people try to accuse you of, and at the same time, in my case, some of the ones that are stalking you are praying real hard. They're not just accusing you of this with drugs or whatever. I believe what some of these preachers do say, they're also cursing you. And I think even in a secular point of view, they have that thing where they keep saying something repetitively enough, it'll come true. So like, I was lucky enough to be living across my first apartment across from the place where whether I even did it first to get even or not, I mean, it was always easiest. You come from this job and you smell food, so you're going straight for the food. You even fucking, when you were making lesser wage before I told some of you guys in my videos, I landed that job where I'll probably never see wages like that again. But I started out in this first apartment making minimum wage $5 an hour, and this was like a bunch of years ago. And back then, when you got $8 an hour, all of a sudden land a job out of a temporary service, that was a big deal. Now my fucking state is like minimum wage is $7 an hour, and they're paying $8 and $9 an hour, no less. I think they're taking a stance and going a little bit step forward. Then they'll try to say, like, you they raise minimum wage, they'll just tax you. But anyway, like I started out, I was even with more wages. I was paying the rent late. She's trying to help family out, do this or that, and hey, I'm buying stereos and CDs and all kind of stuff, and people are trying to make these damn, whether it's an accusation of drugs or if it's whatever the hell else they want to accuse you of, you know what I mean? And they know that, like in my case, since I started finding it easier, I smelled food right there, and I'm going straight for a place where you're eating. I don't care what it is. I think if you were at some bar, if you were living closer to some bar that doesn't serves little or no food, and then you smell beer, and then it's a place where people are playing music and all kind of other behavior, decadent behavior of some kind, even the best of people can make the wrong friends and fall prey to just having a beer somewhere and fall. There's a whole other avenue of talking about gang stalking there. Like I said too, they don't want to just recruit new addicts. They want to, if they can't find new ones, they're made, and then you get the people that are lying about you, right? And then they keep repeating enough. They want to make it true. So in my case, I chose food first, and I was always, I wanted to buy CDs and stereos. I was the typical mullet head of the time, post Headbangers Ball thing when MTV played music. I was always, first thing I wanted my CDs. I wanted food, and then in some cases, some of you guys watching, if you're not a so-called into drugs or a drunk or whatever, at the very least, a lot of people, I would recommend to you go into a place where if it serves beer, a place that serves food and also serves beer, because I'm one of them people that, yeah, they serve beer, some food and a beer, not like these bar stools. I'm not one of the people that can hold alcohol, but anyway, what I found out that I was pissing a lot of people off, just the simple of, okay, what I'm trying to say is your way to get even literally is when you people are in the workplace, they're jealous of you, or outside or somewhere in a neighborhood, or some of your own relatives are making these lies repetitive. Your best way to get even is, some kind of friends, little friends you have, you got to do something that is so much of a habit that you get talked about for it. And you got to be in another habit somewhere else, either always being somewhere eating or always ordering. In my case, always ordering this dish, and there's always got to be this particular thing you're doing, and you're talking to people while you're in it, and you make friends while you're in there. And I find that even some of the people are afraid of all these other people, and they have their own friends and relatives are spreading the shit, right? So I found out, even you found out, some cases, even some of them, they don't want to stick up for you outright because you're kind of lesser on the list, they're kind of afraid of pissing off their respectable friends, so you're putting them on a spot and stuff like that too. In some cases, and you'll get some people that are cordial but yet passive aggressive because they don't like to be wrong. So the best way to get even is basically, whether in a workplace or whether in your neighborhood or somewhere you go, that's something that's such a habit that the male or female gossips, that you get talked about for that, and then create a conflict amongst even some of your enemies. They'll create something where you get talked about to an extreme for this, and then when people go to say this, it clashes and it kind of fucks with people. But I admit it's not infallible, it's not perfect, because your enemies, your gang stalkers, or even your unseen enemies, the ones that are nice to your face but are like this behind your back, or your shadow groups out there that do their shit in the shadows, they get a little annoyed, and then you'll see crowds of people somewhere, small crowds saying stuff so you can hear it. But whatever it is, it's the translation. oh, how dare him disprove you? You'll get a group of people say, how dare him disprove you? He thinks he's so smart. Well, yeah, we'll show him. We're your buddies. We'll stand up. We'll stand by you. Yeah, since we're all your buddies, we'll stand by you. We know he's this, crackhead, this or that, or all of a sudden, yeah, like in some of the cases, it turns out that instead of you're this dopehead or crackhead or whatever, oh, you're whipping out money, always eating out all the time, and you're buying stuff. Oh yeah, you're selling the drugs, so all of a sudden, I guess you can afford to eat all these meals, and then probably be doing the drugs. Well, geez, there's certain, I don't know about some of you guys, except the people, the stereotype, the people that, smoke pot, you kind of want to get the munchies and eat, which, if you're that, more power to you. I mean, eating is always good. That's the kind of people I'm more like, partial to that. If you, but since I lived next to a place where I smelled food, it may have actually kept me from dragged into a kind of a certain way of life. So I'm trying to put something like that in there for you to think about. But yeah, you're going to get the people that that you disprove, and when you finally figure out that some of you by creating another extreme habit and be in a certain location. But me, it wasn't just to get even. It was so easy. It was just easier because, like I says, when my wages went up for a while in the place I was working, okay, you work this many hours and your day is fucking shot. Everybody else goes to the bar and gets drunk or whatever the fuck they do. But as far as I'm concerned, I go home. I went home to take a shower after working. Geez, you take your shower, a bath. I mean, you don't feel like cooking. Your day is shot. So I lived right next to a place and always smelled food. So I was fucking paying the rent late, even with higher wages, just so I could eat out way more often. It was just so much easier. And then, yeah, you had friends and talk to people, conversations or whatever, too. And there was a place around the corner that served beer and, fish sandwiches and beer. And they were the kind of place where there's like a hint, like, in so many words, we're not a bar. I mean, if you want to drink a whole bunch, the bar down there, or in some cases, the place that they call the loser bar is down the street, you know what I mean? But you're not seen there. You're not seen in some of these other places and all that, But I figured out right away. I mean, these other stories I told you on videos, it was just, I found it as a way to get even, and added all kind of other ways to get even. It depends on the area, what you're next to. And one of my first apartments just happens to be a place where it was just easier to eat out all the time and all that. And then you're going to get, like I said, this is only an example. You probably got something that you can do. It's an extreme habit, so you can do more of deliberately, so you get talked about for it, right? So it clashes with the lie. And like I said, it's not a total cure. Your enemies, your gang stalkers, are going to want to get even. They're going to be pissed off, and the ringleaders of this and the saboteurs or whatever you call them, they're going to get mad, and their friends are going to get together and say, "Oh yeah, we're your buddies. We'll stand by you. How dare him make a liar out of you? How dare him disprove you? And then, so I'd show you what we're going to do. We're your buddies. We're going to stand by you. We're going to just keep repeating the shit, you know what I mean? And try to keep drilling it into the heads of maybe some of your friends. And maybe send people to try to egg you on to get into something like that too. But like I said, in some of these other, the kind of neighborhood I lived in, you had both worlds, you know what I mean? The ones that wanted to accuse you, their kid, nice houses are on this place, and then projects over here, and nobody really is any better or any worse for where they live, but there's good people here and there's good people there. And the ones, like I said, on this side of the tracks, oh, I'm into all these drugs and this and that. And they're fucking kids and they're teenagers. They know fucking well that back and forth here. They're hanging around with these friends and they're sneaking behind their, even in their 20s, old enough to leave the house, hanging with these different people. And they know this, and the ones on this side of the tracks that know, they know fucking well in their own hearts that, and it scares them that their kids that are all dressed in whatever these, trying to act like you're the loser and they're the shit, or they're the big shit. Their kids are the ones, even, some of them are even, I saw somebody in a YouTube video a long time ago say this, which they hit it right on the nail on the head, and I always knew this, did elevate themselves by bringing people down, and they're even getting their teenage kids. They're talking about so-and-so's on drugs, but their teenage kids and their people, literally some of them are teaching their kids, oh, sell these drugs and egg them on to do drugs, so-and-so's kids. So in some cases, if losers ain't found, they're just made, And if you don't fall into that, the people that are selling these drugs, they're going to be stalking you and wonder why you ain't buying and give you these dirty ass looks when you get in a conversation that I could tell you a bunch of stories like over and over. People just getting these conversations with me, and I'll find out if you're partying or you drink or whatever. And there were times where I would be finding myself saying, huh? What are you talking about? Then you find out that there's these like little secret codes that, the parties and drug people and all that are, they'll look at you like you're totally retarded, like you're not hip to it. All the different secret codes is all Greek to me. Like I would literally, their lingo, some of these people lingo, I'd have to, I'm like, even though I had relatives that were in jail for all this different shit, I didn't fall into circles. I thought I knew all of it. It just changes so much. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? I'm looking and I'm like, and I had one where they look at me and they say, oh, you don't do nothing? And I go, no, I guess not. And they're like, fuck, or damn, or whatever. And then when you're walking away from them, you figure it out. I'm like, oh, you walk away from the conversation, you figure it out, and you're like, oh, and you're like, but yeah, you got from the people that you got to disprove, that I mean, I had two different cultures there, and they're both for whatever reasons, insecurity looking. And then you got the other people looking to recruit. And the apartment that I occupied, I think in some cases you have people that are ready to call the police, like what some of you guys say, community-oriented policing, okay? Some of these people, even, to be fair, I've talked to someone I figured it out when I was first moving into this apartment, that in some cases, the other more higher and mighty ones, you may be moving in an apartment which part of the community might have known that everybody that lived there, the activity going there, and they're looking at you like you're one of them. And then the ones involved in the activity, who knows, they're probably selling the shit to. They're pissed off at you because the whatever customers they were used to, different people that were in and out of the building were always buying from them or whatever. They're getting pissed off at you, or they're probably thinking, oh, geez, oh, come on, he don't do nothing. He must be buying from our enemies or our rivals or so-and-so or whatever. If you put two and two together, it almost like reminds you of some weird-ass movie you watch. But I try to make this all like a long story short. I mean, you got overlapping cultures and all that stuff too, and people that know full well their own people are into it, so they're just trying to project it onto somebody else. And then there's the people that really do think that shit, that if you watch yourself and you just make yourself known in a very obvious way, do something or be somewhere to the extreme where you'll get talked about for that, they'll come around and they're okay. Shoot, I got this, that in this town right now. I don't mention any names. I'm bad with names, but somebody trying to say that repetitively. But I'm involved in positive things in the holidays, and part of it is I'm out there in the public. When my work is slow in the wintertime. Out there in the public, at the same time, I'm smiling at all the cool friends that I'm making, smiling at them, but at the same time, that smile is also a wide smirk at my haters that are coming by that could be giving you dirty looks. You know what I mean, too. But like I said, no matter what you do to extreme, you can't be discouraged or let it make you paranoid. I can't say this enough. No matter what you do to disprove people or whatever, whether you do it to disprove people or not, you got to do it for you and do what's best for you. And you're still going to get your haters, some of the people that are just misinformed by the lies. Some of them will come around and you'll get some of them that are just passive aggressive. And they're kind of pissed off and they're being nice or cordial, but in their heart you could tell they're just don't want to be wrong and they're kind of pissed off and they're just being nice because they have to be. Then you get the ones that are outright pissed and they got their friends, like I just told you, I can't say enough. They'll say, "Oh, how dare him disprove you and disprove us? We're your buddies. We'll stand by you. We'll keep repeating the same lies anyway." Because the stalkers love their lies, and this ain't just conspiracy theory. This is like all about the nature of people. Some people will figure. Some people just don't want to be wrong no matter what. And they don't like to be disproven and all that. It makes them and their friends look bad. You know what I mean? And then if you're the object of a particular prejudice, I mean, that's how that is.